4 days under a rock in a storm. A survival story. Hey y'all, buckle up because this story's a wild ride. Name's Hank, I was about 35 back then, and I was big into hunting in the Rocky Mountains. Not some badass tracker or anything. Just a guy who loved getting out in the woods a couple times a year for deer or elk. It was my escape from the grind. No Wi-Fi, no noise, just me, the trees, and the chance to bag some game. But this one trip, man, a dumb mistake almost left me and my buddy as permanent residents of those mountains. So, it was November, getting chilly in Colorado, but no big snow yet. Me and my buddy Travis planned a 3-day hunting trip in a spot I'd been to before, middle of nowhere, about 30 miles from the nearest small town. We packed our gear: backpacks, tent, sleeping bags, food for 5 days, just in case, water, a filter, a camp stove, knives, rifles. Oh, and a bottle of whiskey. Gotta stay warm somehow, right? Weather report looked okay. Cloudy, but no rain in sight. We parked my truck at an old logging road and hiked to our usual spot. A clearing by a creek, perfect for setting up camp. Day 1 was smooth as butter. We pitched the tent, scouted around, saw some deer tracks but no luck. By evening, clouds rolled in, and a light drizzle started. No biggie, we thought. Just hunker down in the tent, start a fire in the morning. But that night, Mother Nature decided to throw a tantrum. The drizzle turned into a downpour, wind howling like something out of a horror flick. By morning, our camp was a swamp, the tent was soaked, and that little creek? It was now a raging river, cutting us off from the trail back. Me and Travis grabbed our stuff and moved to a nearby rock overhang, maybe 10 feet deep, enough to keep us dry. We hauled our packs, sleeping bags, rifles, and stove under it, trying to dry off. The rain was coming down in sheets, wind ripping branches off trees, and that river was roaring like a beast. No way we could cross it to get back to the truck. Too risky. The trail was washed out, and the current would have swept us away. Guess we'll sit tight for a day, Travis said. It'll calm down by morning. I nodded, but something in my gut felt off. We built a small fire with some dry twigs we found under the rock and took stock of our supplies. Food: a couple cans of beans, some jerky, nuts, a few energy bars. Water, about a gallon, plus the filter if we could get to the river. Whiskey: half a bottle, but we decided to save it for morale. We wrapped up in our sleeping bags, trying to stay warm, and waited it out. By morning, the storm wasn't letting up. It got worse. Rain was coming in sideways, wind knocking us back, and the river had swallowed our trail completely. We were stuck. Come on, Hank, keep it together, I told myself. We decided to ration food: 1 bar in the morning, half a can of beans at night. Water we sipped carefully, filtering from a puddle nearby. The filter saved us, but it tasted like dirt. By day 3, the food was gone. We'd polished off the last nuts, and the beans didn't stretch as far as we hoped. Hunger makes you sloppy with portions. We'd drunk the whiskey the night before, thinking it'd lift our spirits, but it just made us groggy and cranky. Travis started grumbling. Should have checked the forecast better. I snapped back. What, you're a weatherman now? We were both on edge, but we knew fighting was the last thing we needed. I remembered some survival tips I'd read. Hunger's fine as long as you've got water and shelter. We had the overhang, we had filtered water, but our energy was fading fast. Day 4, the rain eased up a bit, but the river was still a no-go. We decided to make a break for the truck anyway. Packed our bags, ditched the tent. It was too wet and heavy. We tied a rope around our waists so we wouldn't lose each other if the current got us. The first mile or so wasn't bad, but then it turned into a nightmare. The trail was a muddy mess, our boots sinking ankle deep. I slipped once and nearly slid into the river. Travis yanked my pack just in time. "Don't you dare fall, Hank," he yelled. I just nodded, heart pounding like a drum. By evening, we found a spot where the river narrowed a bit. There was a fallen tree we could use as a bridge. Slippery as hell, but our only shot. Travis went first, gripping branches for balance. I followed, rope tied tight. Halfway across, I heard a crack. The tree was giving way. "Run!" Travis shouted. We bolted. and I barely leapt to the bank as the log crashed into the water behind us. We collapsed in the mud, panting but alive. The truck was less than a mile away. We stumbled to it in the dark, shaking from cold and hunger. Thank God the keys were still there. We cranked the heat, sat in silence, and let the warmth sink in. Drove to a 24-hour diner in the nearest town and wolfed down burgers and coffee like it was our last meal. Never tasted anything so good. We made it out, but that storm taught me to respect nature. I still hunt, but now I carry a satellite phone and check the weather like a paranoid grandpa. Travis still ribs me about almost drowning us both. But you know what? When you're stuck under a rock for 4 days, no food, with a storm raging around you, you realize how small you are, and how much you need a buddy who won't let you give up. Survival in the cave. How I almost became part of the rock. Hey, folks, listen up. This is a story from my life that still makes me wake up in a cold sweat at night. I'm not some extreme adventurer or a movie hero, just a regular guy from Colorado who loves climbing mountains and exploring caves. Name's Alex. I was about 30 back then, working in IT, but on weekends, total escape into nature. My buddies and I got hooked on spelunking, cave exploring, rappelling down ropes, all that jazz. We thought it was awesome. Adrenaline, silence, feeling like you're in another world. How wrong we were. Anyway, this happened in October when it was getting chilly but no snow yet. Me and my 2 pals, Jack, who always lugged around his camera, and Emily, our tough girl who knew every knot better than us, decided to check out this abandoned cave in the Rockies. Found it on an old spelunking forum. Black Abyss or something like that, not popular, no signs, just coordinates and a couple old posts from folks who'd been there. We drove up around noon, parked the car about a mile from the entrance. Gear was ropes, carabiners, headlamps, spare batteries, some bars, water, first aid kit. Nothing fancy, we were pros. Haha. The entrance was narrow, like a crack in the rock, barely wider than my shoulders. We anchored the rope to a big boulder outside, checked the knots 3 times. Knots, harness, weight. Jack went first, then Emily. I brought up the rear. Everything was fine until I was about 65 feet down. The rope was taut, my headlamp lighting up the smooth, wet walls dripping with condensation, like a clock ticking. Down below, I hear them yelling, "Hey, Alex, hurry up, it's awesome down here." I grin, thinking, just wait till I get down and show you how to take pics. And then crack, sharp and clear. The rope jerks like someone's yanking it. I grab on instinctively, but my feet slip off the wall, and I'm dangling in midair. Up top, I hear a low grinding noise, then a snap. The rope goes slack and I start falling. I don't know how long it lasted, maybe a second, maybe 2. I slam into a ledge on the wall, hitting my shoulder and backpack hard. Pain shoots through me like a hammer blow. My headlamp shatters and everything goes pitch black. Jack and Emily are screaming from below. "Alex, you okay? What happened?" I try to yell back, but the impact knocked the wind out of me. I'm just wheezing, "Alive, rope, stuck." They shine their lights up from below, but it barely reaches. I'm in the shadows. I see their faces, pale and worried. Jack shouts, "Hold on, buddy. We'll figure out how to get you down." Emily adds, "Check your harness. Don't panic." Easy for her to say. I'm hanging in total darkness, shoulder throbbing like it's on fire, legs dangling in the void. The air's cold and damp, making my fingers numb. The harness digs into my thighs. I'm thinking, is this it? Am I stuck here forever? About 10 minutes later, I catch my breath. I pull out my backup flashlight from my pocket, small, battery-powered, the one I always carry. Turn it on, weak beam, but enough to see my hands and a bit of rope. I yell down, "Rope's jammed on a ledge. Can't descend." Jack replies, "We're looking for another way or rope. Hang in there, we'll be quick." They head deeper into the cave. Their lights flicker and fade. I'm alone. Panic rolls in waves. What if they don't come back? What if there's a collapse? Or I just get tired and fall? My arms are already aching from the grip, harness cutting in. I remember reading about survival. Breathe steady, conserve energy, think positive. Easy to say. I think about family, beer after the climb, telling this story to friends. But the shoulder pain won't let me focus. Feels like someone's driving a nail into the joint. I decide to act. Waiting means my strength runs out. I start swinging on the rope, slow so I don't slip. Every swing, agony, shoulder screaming, stop. But I keep going. After 20 minutes, I see the ropes caught on a sharp outcrop about 3 feet up. If I reach it, I can free it or cut it. But my arms are too short. Then I remember my backpack. I unclip it with one hand, other on the rope, and start swinging it like a pendulum to hook the outcrop. Takes maybe an hour. I'm soaked in sweat, fingers slipping, shoulder a total mess. A few times the pack slips, and I think, that's it, done. But on the 4th or 5th try, it hooks. I pull crunch, rope gives. I start descending slow, braking to control speed. Legs shaking, but I'm going down. When I hit the floor, knees buckle. I collapse on the cold stone. Sit up, drink half a bottle of water, eat a bar. Strength creeps back a bit. Jack and Emily come back after half an hour. Found a side tunnel and an old rope from some previous descent. We anchor it and climb out together. On the surface, I realize I spent nearly 6 hours in there, 4 of them dangling. At the hospital, dislocated shoulder, bruises, dehydration. Recovered in a month. Haven't gone caving since, enough's enough. But that ordeal taught me. Always double-check anchors and never ignore pain. And friends, they're lifesavers. Without them, I'd be rotting down there.